Planet, and you're watching It's Your Health. I want to thank you for tuning into the program tonight. And our program tonight will be on liver cancer, the relationship between obesity and liver cancer, the relationship that type 2 diabetes plays and also hypertension play in liver cancer, and also some tips on influenza, information actually from the CDC on influenza and the guidelines that will be used this year for the influenza vaccine for children and adults. And we'll go to that information now. You know, in a report, obesity and drinking alcohol increase the risk for liver cancer, and coffee consumption will decrease this risk, according to a new report called the Diet, Nutrition, Physical Activity in Liver Cancer. The report was released by the American Institute of Cancer Research and the World Cancer Research Fund's Continuous Update Project on March 25th. This is the first time there has been such a clear signal from a rigorous, systematic review on the links between obesity increasing risk of liver cancer and coffee decreasing its risk. This panel, this Continuous Update Project panel, member Stephen Herstein, PhD, MPH, commented in a press release saying that he's a researcher, of course, at the North Carolina at Chapel Hill. The CUP report analyzed 34 studies on research about how lifestyle factors affect the risk for liver cancer. The studies included more than 8 million people and more than 24,000 liver cancer cases. An independent panel of international experts reviewed the results. Liver cancer is the second most common cause of death from cancer worldwide, and rates of the disease are increasing, according to the World Health Organization statistics cited in this report. Because liver cancer is usually diagnosed at an advanced stage, it is associated with a poor 5-year survival rate. The disease affects men more often than women and is more common in people living in the developing countries because of hepatitis and those in the industrialized regions. This report found that drinking coffee probably protects us against liver cancer. The mechanism behind coffee's protective effect in liver cancer is not entirely understood. Now, there's some evidence points to compounds in coffee that may help in the detoxification, antioxidant defense, DNA damage, and cell death, and the expression of genes involved in inflammation. The link with obesity is getting stronger as well for liver cancer. The analysis found a strong evidence linking a higher BMI to increased risk for liver cancer. The evidence on obesity and cancer is only getting stronger, said Dr. Herstein, as he emphasized in a press release. We're looking at a tsunami of obesity-related cancer coming our way. We're looking at a tsunami of obesity that will impact people, and people really need to be aware of this issue. And we need more research on weight loss strategies and understanding the mechanisms so that we can break this connection, he emphasized. You know, there's a very strong correlation between obesity, type 2 diabetes, chronic liver disease, also kidney failure. And I want to correlate these things that, you know, type 2 diabetes, obesity, you know, affects us in many detrimental ways. You know, there are other cancers linked to being overweight: ovarian cancer, colorectal cancer, postmenopausal breast cancer, advanced prostate cancer, endometrial cancer, esophageal cancer, kidney cancer, pancreatic, and gallbladder. You know, we talk about weight loss, we talk about healthy lifestyle and exercise to try to empower you with knowledge that you can take matters into your own hands to protect your health through a very good lifestyle, through proper nutrition and exercise and weight loss. You know, body fatness increases insulin-like growth factors and estrogens, according to this medical report. This process stimulates inflammatory responses. It creates a pro-carcinogenic environment or pro-cancer environment. You know, moreover, body fatness increases the risk for type 2 diabetes, a known risk factor for liver cancer. Body fatness also increases the risk for non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, which can progress to cirrhosis and increase the risk of liver cancer. You know, people don't associate obesity with cirrhosis of the liver, but it can cause non-alcoholic steatohepatitis. This will give rise to a chronic liver condition and can lead to cirrhosis of the liver. We now have a little more precision on the alcohol-liver cancer link, said Dr. Hirsch in his press release. Above 3 drinks a day seems to dramatically impact the tumorigenic process that increases the risk for cancer, all forms of cancer, in this case, cancer of the liver. As I said, alcohol, when we drink an excessive amount of alcohol, it's broken down to aldehydes. And these aldehydes are carcinogenic agents. It can cause a multiple group of cancers in different parts of the body. You know, alcohol predisposes to cirrhosis, which is a risk factor for liver cancer, according to this medical report. Finally, the report found limited, though consistent evidence that physical activity and fish consumption could decrease the risk for liver cancer, though further research is needed. And I want to bring in the fact that regarding fish consumption, we're talking about omega-3 fatty acids, DHA, EPA component of omega-3 fatty acids, which are the good fats for us. They're found in almonds, they're found in your deep water fish. Salmon is a very good source. Tuna is another good source of the omega-3 fatty acids. And these are very protective. And I want to think that it's protecting us from the anti-inflammatory effect of the EPA component of the omega-3 fatty acids. You know, the most common hypothesis, according to the report, explains that N3 fatty acids found in fatty fish and fish oils, especially the long-chain polyunsaturated fatty acids, inhibit carcinogenics by inhibiting their carcinoid production. Physical activity may protect us against liver cancer, the report explained, by improving insulin sensitivity and body fatness, as well as decreasing chronic inflammation and oxidative stress. You know, inflammation is involved in so many chronic processes in our body. It's also associated with vascular damage. It's associated with cardiovascular disease. Inflammation of the vascular walls is another component of atherosclerosis and the building up of these plaques in our arterial walls. Also, you know, we have to look at the pro-inflammatory effect on our joints, which is not good, causing painful joints as well. And even in cancer, there's a pro-inflammatory effect in many of the cancers. So this inflammation that is in our body is affecting many organ systems, the vascular system, you know, and also the carcinogenic potential that inflammation occurs in the carcinogenic process. The more inflammation, the speedier, the quicker the growth of the cancer. Lifestyle factors are important contributors for the development of liver cancer. Even moderate changes in diet, changes in alcohol consumption, and exercise can prevent liver cancer. This CUP panel member, Dr. Tobias, said in a press release, now note that Dr. Tobias is a clinical professor in the Department of Gastroenterology at New York University Medical Center, and he says that liver cancer can also occur because of uncontrolled forms of hepatitis, including hepatitis C, which affects millions of people worldwide. Other factors that contribute to the development of liver cancer include viral hepatitis, type 2 diabetes, cirrhosis, smoking, oral contraceptives with high doses of estrogen and progesterone, and aflatoxins. Now, this report was developed in partnership with the World Cancer Research Fund, International Continuous Update Project, and the American Institute for Cancer Research. Very interesting article on cancer that I wanted to bring out of the liver. You know, we have an association between hypertension raises the risk for liver cancer. You know, diabetes and hypertension are both independent risk factors for hepatocellular carcinoma, even in the absence of cirrhosis or the common cause of cirrhosis, according to the retrospective study. Does this mean we should screen patients with diabetes mellitus and hypertension for hepatocellular carcinoma or liver cancer in the absence of cirrhosis? Will this be cost effective? This is what the gastroenterologist physicians are asking. Previous studies have suggested that diabetes increases the risk for hepatocellular carcinoma, prompting physicians to look and investigate whether other components of the metabolic syndrome, such as hypertension and hyperlipidemia, high cholesterol, will increase the risk of liver cancer. There's a team that studied 17,000 patients of hepatocellular carcinoma diagnosed from 2008 to 2012. And this study was a cohort consisted of 7,473 patients after the exclusion of those with possible co-founders, such as cirrhosis, hepatitis B, or alcoholic liver damage, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and some autoimmune and hereditary conditions. The 22,000 persons in the control group provided about 3 matched subjects for each patient with hepatocellular cancer. In contrast, hyperlipidemia appears to be protective against hepatocellular carcinoma or liver cancer as we know it. There's a significant association between some diabetes medications, such as insulin, and an increased risk for hepatocellular carcinoma. But for other diabetes medications, such as metformin, there was a significant decrease in risk of liver cancer. The risks were also elevated in patients with diabetes who had hyperlipidemia, which is high cholesterol, and had hepatitis C, and in patients with diabetes and also hypercholesterolemia. There's a team that's unable to look at obesity as a variable in their analysis, but because obesity is not commonly coded as a diagnosis in many of the patients that are seen with these liver conditions. And I can't overemphasize the importance of a healthy lifestyle. We all should be taking care of ourselves. We should really pay attention to our diet. We really should watch our diet and keep our weight within its normal limits, because when we become obese in our society, it predisposes us to many healthcare problems. Cardiovascular disease for one, cerebrovascular disease, we're talking about strokes, hypertension from obesity, all of these cascade down to many chronic conditions and chronic diseases, which can become life-threatening as well. So and now obesity correlated strong with liver cancer. And we really need to take note of this, that we can prevent liver cancer by keeping our weight within its normal limits, exercising, and a healthy diet. All these are very, very critical and important factors for the reduction of liver cancer. And also any other of the chronic conditions that we can eliminate through our healthy lifestyle to take heed. We're talking about influenza. Flu season is upon us very shortly, and the CDC has released recommendations for the 2015-2016. Influenza is unpredictable, and it's impossible to say in advance how severe 2015-2016 flu season will be. But influenza causes millions of illnesses, hundreds of thousands of hospitalizations, and thousands of deaths each season. An annual influenza vaccination is the best defense against influenza. Now, for the 2015-2016 influenza season, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention and the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices continue to recommend routine annual influenza vaccinations for all persons aged 6 months or older who have no contraindications, of course, to the use of taking the influenza vaccine. They summarize the changes to the CDC's influenza vaccine, their recommendations for 2014 to 2015, and it lists some additional information in groups recommended for vaccination, timing of vaccination, vaccination of persons with a history of egg allergy, the vaccine composition, and new updates for vaccine product approvals. This can be available on the CDC website. Children under 6 months through 8 years in their first season of vaccination must receive 2 doses of the influenza vaccine to optimize their response. The doses should be administered at least 4 weeks apart. Children aged 6 months through 8 years who have received 2 or more total doses of trivalent or quadrivalent influenza vaccine before July 1st, 2015, should receive only 1 dose for the 2015-2016 year. The 2 previous doses need not be given during the same season or consecutive seasons. The children aged 6 months through 8 who have not previously received a total of 2 more doses of the trivalent or quadrivalent influenza vaccine before July 1st, 2015 should receive 2 doses for the 2015-2016 year. These doses should be administered at least 4 weeks apart. And that pretty much kind of summarizes the vaccinations for children. And, we're going to go into now the vaccinations for the adults and other individuals. And, the groups that are recommended for vaccination, the vaccination is to prevent influenza. It's particularly important for persons who are at an increased risk for severe complications from the flu. When the vaccine supply is limited, efforts should focus on delivering vaccinations to the following persons who have a hierarchy is implied by order of their need and seriousness to be protected against the flu. And it's all persons over the age of 50 years or older should receive an influenza vaccine. Adults and children who have chronic pulmonary or cardiovascular conditions, renal, which is kidney, hepatic, liver problems, neurologic, hematologic, or metabolic disorders, including diabetes mellitus, should receive the influenza vaccine. Now, persons who have immunosuppression, including immunosuppression caused by medications or by HIV, should receive the flu vaccine. And these are immunosuppression. It could be in individuals who have rheumatoid arthritis, who are taking those drugs that suppress their immune system. They should take a flu vaccine each year. Women who are or will be pregnant during the influenza season should get a flu vaccine. Children and adolescents aged 6 months through 18 who are receiving aspirin therapy and who might be at risk for experiencing Reye syndrome after influenza virus infection should receive the influenza vaccine. Residents of nursing homes and other long-term care facilities should receive the flu vaccine. The American Indians and the Alaska Natives also. And persons who are obese with a body mass index of 40 kilograms or greater should be taking their influenza vaccine as well. Household contacts, including children and caregivers of children aged 59 months or older or younger than 5 years, and adults aged 50 or older, with particular emphasis on vaccinating contacts of children younger than 6 months. And household contacts, including children and caregivers of persons with medical conditions that put them at high risk for severe complications from influenza. The recommendation for pregnant women for vaccination of pregnant women remained the same for 2000 as it was for 2014-15. Women who are or will be pregnant during the influenza season should receive the influenza vaccine. Adults age 65 and older, those who are 65 and older and age appropriate should receive the influenza vaccine as well. I want to remind everybody that we have in our power the ability to prevent many serious medical conditions. And we have at our disposal all this knowledge. We only have to go to the internet, turn on your TV, and you're getting medical information daily. And the purpose of this program is to inform you to more healthier lifestyle practices, increasing your lifestyle and exercise by watching your diet very closely, getting proper nutrition, and avoiding those things that can be detrimental to your health. But I hope you've enjoyed tonight's program. We continue to try to bring you, the latest information for us in medicine and in science, hoping that it can improve your health and give you information that could be very valuable in preventing many, many of these chronic diseases. Once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. Please check us out on Facebook and like us on Facebook. It's Your Health with Dr. Richard Duplantis on Facebook. And of course, tune in next week for our new episode every Monday night. Our premiere episode is at 8 p.m. here on Channel 16 on AOC and LUS Fiber Channel 4. I want to thank you very much. Hope you have a very pleasant evening. I'm Dr. Rick Duplantis. Good night.